Back again with another YouTube video. It's your boy Uriah G. Today we're going to react to 10 wrestling moves that almost paralyzed a WWE wrestler. Let's get right into the video.
Before I understood what nuclear...
Alright, we got an advertisement to start off. This usually happens. 2 ads too. Alright, this is skippable.
Moved, then nearly paralyzed. Number 10, the Wasteland. Now on paper, the Wasteland is one of the simplest wrestling moves there is. In fact, the move often received criticism for looking too weak upon execution, and when Wade Barrett switched to the Bullhammer Elbow, fans were delighted, as Wasteland just wasn't popular as a move. With that being said, the move should be easy to execute safely. However, when Barrett performed the move on super heavyweight Mark Henry, tragedy almost struck a...
He got injured? Dang. Let's see what happened.
Live on Raw. Barrett just couldn't get Henry in a correct position, and Barrett almost injured his spine doing the move. The former Intercontinental Champion reflected on the infamous spot during an interview with Ace Odds. "We tried it during the day, it worked pretty well, and then we tried it in the match and it did not work well," he said, admitting it was almost disastrous. "I almost broke my spine. I landed Mark on top."
So pretty much what he's saying is he's just a heavy wrestler. I mean, the weight between them two are different, so I mean, I can understand. But the fact that he even picked them up for the Wasteland and, slammed them is, excellent in a sense. It's, I don't know, what word am I looking for? I'll just say it's excellent because I'm trying to really think.
Top of his head, and he was very upset with me afterwards, and this was on live TV, getting beamed around the world. Is it the new guy coming in to try and make himself good with the world of wrestling in the locker room, and veterans like Mark Henry and I came in and dropped him on his head, he said? So yeah, very embarrassing. Now both Barrett and Henry were okay, but the spot acted as a sinister reminder that there's a...
Nah. It did look cool in a sense, the finisher that he did, but it didn't look like he, perfected it well. I thought he did, but now I see why he got injured. Mark Henry probably got injured, and Wade Barrett.
Difference between doing a move safely in rehearsal and doing the move 10 minutes into...
Guys, I can't talk because I'm trying to think and understand what I want to say, but the words aren't coming out, so I just have to think.
A featured matchup. Number 9, the Shaker Heights.
I have to take my time when I talk. All right, let's get back to the video.
Spike. Now, if a wrestling move receives audible concern from the fans, then it's highly likely that that move is very unsafe. The Beverly Brothers used a move known as the Shaker Heights Spike, and the interesting thing about the move is that it was usually only performed on enhancement talent. Fans, as well as numerous wrestling personalities, have theorized that due to the dangers of the move, the only names that were going to take the move were those who had no choice in the matter. In one particular match, the move went horribly wrong, and
that move does not look safe at all. Did it get banned?
It looked like the poor enhancement talent broke their neck. It's hard to look at, and mainly because the brothers show a disturbing lack of remorse, and it was as if they didn't remotely care that they had potentially had a hand in injuring their opponent for real and almost paralyzing them. Number 8, Doomsday Device. The Doomsday Device is an iconic move in wrestling, yet there are obvious risk factors in taking a move of this nature.
Definitely one of the greatest tag team finishers of all time. I can definitely say that.
The taking the move must basically fall backwards and hope that they don't land on their neck. For Henry or Godwin in 1997, he had a truly traumatizing landing. When he took the move, Godwin would land on his head and he instantly cracked his C7 vertebrae. Godwin was advised by doctors to rest for 15 weeks but returned to the...
You gotta think about it. They did these moves, did their finishers, moves, whatever you want to call them. They almost got paralyzed from him. I don't know if they're gonna talk about the Owen Hart and Stone Cold match, where Stone Cold's neck, where he got paralyzed, almost like dang near ended his career. I don't know if he's gonna talk about that, but we'll see.
the ring in less than 8 weeks, which was unfortunately a trend at the time, as wrestlers would rush back before they were medically ready, hoping that their place on the card had not diminished. Number 7. Chris Benoit's horrific landing. One of the top matches on the 2003 No Mercy pay-per-view saw Chris Benoit take on A-Train, and one of the key scripted spots in the match was supposed to see Benoit receive a gorilla press from A-Train onto a chair.
Oh, I remember. I think I've seen like this spot where he picked him up, dropped him, and he fell like straight on his head against, I think, on the chair or was on the mat, either or.
Unfortunately, this spot went horribly wrong. As A-Train was about to press Benoit, he lost his grip, and this meant that Benoit came crashing down headfirst onto the steel chair. The worst thing about this was that it was apparent that Benoit was in agony. Benoit wasn't selling. His pain was legitimate and agonizing. If this type of botch happened in today's WWE, then it's likely that the match would have been stopped. A ton of research has been done into CTE and head trauma, and an incident of this nature would require immediate medical checks to make sure that
And that's why a lot of finishers got banned, because, concussions and stuff, so.
wrestler was safe to continue. Number 6. Tiger Driver 91. The Tiger Driver is a move that is commonly used outside of WWE, yet when the move was first delivered, it was done by complete accident, and there was initial concern that that wrestler taking the move had been seriously hurt. Mitsuharu Misawa was a man often cited as being responsible for the move, and the story goes that Misawa attempted a powerbomb and the move was botched, and this led to his opponent landing horribly on their head. Due to his opponent somehow being perfectly fine and the move receiving a positive reaction from the audience, the move just seemed to stick around, and over time, it became a commonly used move in professional wrestling. Number 5. The Jackknife Powerbomb. Performing a powerbomb on a smaller opponent should be relatively easy for a wrestler such as Kevin Nash. However, when Nash was tasked with hitting his trademark powerbomb on the Giant, aka The Big Show, at the '98 sold-out pay-per-view, everything went wrong. At first, it looked like Nash was going to be able to get the Giant up. However, during the
he was kind of struggling. Yeah, I think that's the same thing what happened with Wade Barrett with the Mark Henry.
final few seconds, he dropped the Giant on his head. This was the single most terrifying moment in the history of WCW, and there was great concern that the Giant had broken his neck live on pay-per-view. Thankfully, the Giant was okay and he was able to wrestle again. And in typical WCW fashion, WCW decided to turn the botch into an angle and run with the idea that Nash broke the Giant's neck. Number 4. The Leg Drop. Now, Hulk Hogan made a career out of dropping his devastating leg drop, yet Hogan has admitted that he regrets picking the leg drop
Wait, let's see.
as his primary finishing move, as doing the move thousands of times over the years has led to irreversible damage on his back. According to WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle on his podcast, Hogan has had the nerves cut from his lower body and he can't feel anything down below. Hogan had his back surgery again. He had the nerves cut from his lower body. He uses a cane to walk around. I thought he was using a cane because he has pain in his back. He doesn't have any pain. He has nothing at all. He can't feel anything. So now he can't feel his legs, so he has to walk with a cane. That's pretty serious, man. I mean, I really feel for Hogan. He's put his heart and soul into the business and it ate him up. Let's just say the chances of Hogan ever taking a bump again are extremely slim. Number 3. The Tombstone. When The Undertaker first arrived in WWE, he had issues making sure wrestlers were comfortable.
Yeah, because this isn't a safe finisher. I mean, I don't think, was it safe when it first started? Because, the way he's positioned, his head going down, him having to, know how to time it well and make the finisher safe.
Taking the Tombstone Piledriver. The move looked like it was spiking wrestlers on their head, and when the Dead Man did the move against Mario Mancini, it looked like Mancini had been legitimately injured in the middle of the ring. When The Undertaker performed the move against Koko B. Ware at the Survivor Series pay-per-view in 1990, it looked incredibly stiff. When Taker came back through the curtain, Beware would claim that Undertaker had hurt his neck. The legendary Dead Man added some great insight into this story on his podcast, and he stated that he thought that he and Beware were going to come to physical blows. The very first tombstone that I give is to Koko. I give him the tombstone 1, 2, 3 and he's out. We get backstage and Koko gets me in the hallway and he's giving me the riot act, saying if somebody gives you their body, you gotta be able to protect them. You hurt my neck. I said, Koko, if I hurt you, I am sorry. I really pride myself on being safe and taking care of
I don't know if I heard about this.
the guys I'm working with. He kept going, he was pissed. And to the point where I'd apologized all I could apologize for, and that's when I said, I've apologized as much as I know how to. If you're not going to accept that, then maybe we need to go out in the parking lot and figure this out. The Undertaker would adjust the tombstone in later months, and by the time the
Odin Valhalla
Come
Rising,
on.
now available on
An advertisement.
2020, he was well established as being one of the safest wrestlers on the entire WWE roster. Number 2, the Banzai Drop. Whilst Yokozuna was usually safe with his opponents in the ring, he was also prone to putting a little too much force into his finishing move, the Banzai Drop. If Yokozuna wrestled someone he didn't like or an enhancement talent, he would often make the move look like he was trying to legitimately injure his opponent. Take for instance when he wrestled Jobber Dan Dubiel on an episode of Raw in early 1994. When Yokozuna performed the Banzai Drop, Yoko came down on him with all his full weight. To make matters worse, the referee had
That does look like a scary finisher, though, if you really think about it.
to inform Yokozuna that now was the time to get off the poor Jobber. Dubiel looked like he was paralyzed in the middle of the ring, but thankfully he was okay, and he continued to wrestle for WWE during that week's TV tapings. And number 1, the original Pedigree. The Pedigree is one of the
Yeah, the original Pedigree, I forgot. I think I've seen the spot where he done it, and like the way he did the Pedigree, the original Pedigree back in like the 90s or 80s when he did it. I think this was like the Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick.
one of the most famous moves in wrestling, and for it to work safely, Triple H or any wrestler giving the move must allow the wrestler to land flat thanks to a front face bump. For a wrestler to land in this way, the wrestler giving the move usually has to let go of their opponent's arms, and this means that the wrestler can then support themselves and land safely down on the mat. Well, when Triple H first did the Pedigree on TV, he kept a hold of his opponent's arms, and when he hit it on the enhancement talent named Marty Garner, Garner managed to get spiked headfirst right into
That did not look well compared to how the Pedigree is now. No.
the mat. The landing was horrible, and if Garner was hurt, then it's possible that the move could have been completely banned in WWE. According to Garner, during an interview on In the Weeds, he had genuinely zero idea what the Pedigree was, and this impacted the way he took the move. Hunter was new there, and I was new there. I didn't want to tell him that I didn't know what the Pedigree was. I had no idea what the Pedigree was. When he said, "Are you good with taking the Pedigree?" I said, "Oh yeah, sure man." When he locked me into it, it felt like it'd be a powerbomb because he was putting my head between his legs. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kick hard. I didn't think it was a pile driver, but I didn't know what it was. I should have probably asked, looking back. Garner went on to say that the game was concerned for his welfare, but Garner has admitted that he's responsible for the move going so poorly. But there you have it, folks. 10
That was 10 wrestling moves that almost paralyzed the WWE wrestler. Subscribe, like, comment. Tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned. And yeah, Uriah out.